Novak Djokovic is a true champion, and he will sorely be missed once he announces his retirement from men's professional tennis. I was watching yesterday's interview that he gave, the press conference, shortly after his crushing defeat against Yannick Sinner, and the way he still conducted himself, the responses he gave, to the length, always providing valuable insight, always having a humorous side to him. He's a true champion, and tennis doesn't replicate these as often as we might hope. So yeah, once he's gone, the era will have finished, right? It will have come to a fitting close, and you know, I grew up as a Federer fan and only became a Roger Federer fan probably during the 2015 Wimbledon Championships in the semi-final when Roger overcame Andy Murray, and then went on to face Djokovic and lose in four sets. And sort of throughout 2015 and 2019, I detested Djokovic. I didn't like him because there was always such a stark rivalry between the two of them. And my brother was a great lover of Novak Djokovic, and it was always kind of a show off, and the person who ultimately won got the bragging rights, and that was always a difficult pill for me to swallow because Djokovic would always, most of the time, beat Federer when it came to the big matches at the Grand Slam events. There were a few exceptions, obviously, towards the latter part of Roger's career. I think the Labour Cup. There was also, I think, not the Labour Cup. The what was it? Paris Masters. There was also the ATP World Tour Finals. There we go. So, but the Grand Slams, Djokovic always owned him, and especially I can remember one particular instance in Wimbledon 2019 that was probably the most painful sporting event I've had to endure, and I think I cried for 30 minutes afterwards, and it was a really difficult pill for me to swallow. I remember the evening I probably didn't eat anything as well. But as you grow up, as you mature, you understand the man who Djokovic is. You just have to say he's the greatest player to ever pick up a racket, even though I'm a Federer fan. And the point I'm trying to convey is the more I've grown up, the more I've matured, the more I've watched the game of tennis, the more I've understood that Djokovic is a true sportsman. He's not as arrogant as people make him out to be. And I think that's a main distinction point. And fundamentally, the more I've watched him 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, the more I've grown to respect him as a human being for what he stands for, what he advocates, the messages he gives out, the way he portrays himself on and off the court. And I think people really underestimate him and perhaps haven't let their true side see the person he is. And Djokovic, when he's gone, he's trying to. I want him to win one more. That would just be a fitting end, and I think they would put any case to bed as to why he is not the greatest of all time. I think hands down he is. And do I think that Sinner or Alcaraz can kind of bid over and win and what's the word I'm looking for? Eclipse Djokovic? Probably not. I just don't think there's enough. I obviously you see the dominance there, and the two of them will undoubtedly be the two front horses. Zverev, you can't count him out. I mean, it would be an interesting Grand Slam final as to how it occurs and what happens. But I think that what these people, what Djokovic, Nadal, and Federer were able to achieve in such a finite amount of time, the three of them dominated world tennis. But let's not forget Andy Murray. Let's not forget Stanislas Wawrinka. Let's not forget the odd Marin Cilic, Kei Nishikori. They also had their part. So it was a tremendous era of tennis to watch, and I can only reiterate what I said in the previous videos. That part of me will also end because you lose interest in the tennis sport. You lose interest in someone who gave it such a life, he attracted so many people from all different places in the world, and that's what made it really special. He united the whole tennis world and fan base. So Djokovic will surely be missed, and it will be a sad day, and you just don't want it to end in the way that he kind of hinted that he wants to try to come back to Wimbledon. I think he should. I mean, he's 39, still has a good level of tennis. If he gets lucky in the draw, he can make it to the final, and then anything's possible. But on the flip side, everything could also go terribly wrong. And, when you're a professional when you're a professional athlete, you don't quite kind of know when is the right time to retire. Do you want to retire on a high? Do you want to go out there and still get another Grand Slam title? I know his quest to 25 is still very much a thing, so I think that's in his back of my mind. And I'm a fan. Pundits can only sit there and criticize, especially the ones that haven't played on a professional level. It's easy to criticize, and I'm aware of that, but fundamentally, we've seen it happen before, not just in tennis, in football and other sports, where there's such a longing and a support from the fans that you want to achieve a certain thing, but you just don't get there, and then it kind of turns into a poor showing towards the end of the career, and then you kind of taint your reputation. So I think that Djokovic won't want to do that. I think he'll give it one more chance, and a semi-final exit in 3 sets against the world number one is by no means a poor performance. There's just, as he said, he was half a step off and 1 to 1.5 levels of tennis just below Sinner, and that's good to admit. So we'll see what happens. I think it will be difficult for Djokovic, but I wouldn't rule it out that he can win one more.